It's a very silly night, you know? It's very silly tonight, you know?
Yes.
And typically, we've been jumping into politics, some real serious, hard stuff. Man, I feel bored just talking about that, to be honest with you. I kind of went to sleep just talking. I mean, because it's so boring, but it's so important, you know?
The hard stuff.
Yeah, man. And the worst part about it is just like, I feel like recently I've just been forced into having to care about it, which is
Who
bad,
forced
you
you?
know? Just society, man.
Don't
I
blame me,
see the
man.
forces.
Mr. Society, the attacks again.
I don't blame Habibi. I don't blame Habibi personally. Nah, man. You know, I just feel compelled by society now. It's like I feel like politics is unavoidable. You know, it's like you have to take a stand, and if you're not taking a stand, it's like you're still taking a stand according to some people. You know,
What happened to
Well,
silence is golden?
what's that? What'd you
right?
say?
It's
It
not.
used to be.
It's
Everyone.
not. Silence is not golden.
It used to be good enough. It felt like
I
to just
feel
be
like
So
silent.
there's an instinct here. Like the three of us, I think, met through comedy. It's in us. It's what we do, and I think it's the job, not even just as us as citizens, but I think D, maybe what you're catching up to really is just like it's the job of it's your job as a comedian. It's there. It's the elephant in the room. It's the
Yeah,
goddamn elephant in the room, and that's your
yeah.
job to call that out. And if you're not, you're doing a bad job. You're not good at that. I think that's even though it's like work now. It's a
So
job
bad.
somebody else is putting you to, and that's the tough part, man. Like it's like do this job and then be funny on top of it. It's like, man, I can report you the news, but you want me to like also make jokes about it. You want me to make it accessible and digestible. This is already hard enough for me. That's what I told you, D, that one time. I feel bad almost sometimes, Rock. I don't know if you caught this once, but I said I feel kind of bad for like Anderson Cooper and Wolf Blitzer, just on a fundamentally emotional level. They're taking in a lot, and they already know all of society. I mean, there's a term for it, fake news. They know that's them. Like they know they're the ones who just think like you suck at your job automatically based off what I assume about you. That's
yeah,
tough. And
yeah.
then they take in the actual news of like what's actually
But
fucking up.
that's like
Tough,
our
man. I'm not saying they're flawless people. I'm just saying it's actually
yeah. That's also our opinion about it because they're living that life, man. They chose to be that
yeah.
person up until a point, and then the world grew into this. Well, media has always been the power tool for America, I guess I'll say, and then the world. And so when media started becoming more accessible and more reachable and more shareable, people went from I'm just a reporter to oh shit, now I'm getting so much information. You get it? Like when these guys started their careers, they did not understand that media was going to be this explicit, right?
Uh,
So I cut that break because you're already in the positions and you're getting into the TV, and then outside world is now becoming. What you talking about? What you talking about? What are you really talking about?
I mean, I'm not saying they're doing an amazing job all the time. Believe me, they're not. Like the
No
part of
one
my
does an amazing job. What
it's
I'm
tough.
saying is
First off, it's tough to do a good job than to do an amazing
they're,
job.
they're never going to do a good job.
Right,
Never.
right.
Because their job
Right.
is
The human error thing. It's just going to happen.
no. They are trained and well prepared on how to use words to control a narrative, right?
Partially.
And they're using that power tool to spread an ideology through a nation. Yes or no?
Partially.
Still on?
Yeah.
So those types of people that are
You just
that
pissed me
aware,
off real bad. I don't know what you said, Rock. I was with you.
yeah.
D apparently just was not having it.
No, he went to go get notebook because I'm about to drop.
No, I'm still with you. I'm
knowledge.
still with you. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, yeah. So people that aware, that acknowledging of what's actually going on and what they can do with it, that's their responsibility, man. I don't feel bad for the fact that one, they're so aware of it. They're so understanding of what they're consciously being a part of overall. I believe that. So what I'm saying is I don't feel bad for them. They're part of the system, in my opinion.
Do you think journalism was ever well respected and revered for the right reasons, without this
Oh.
idea of spreading strictly ideology or anything else, but just
Yes.
to inform and to
Be-
democratize people?
Before it became larger, like aware on a more larger scale,
Sure.
right?
Of course, I agree with you.
know.
I think the scales tipped when we got introduced. No, you could say near 2001, really, where you have a development of Fox News. These guys are joining something that changed rapidly not too long ago, less than 20 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. I don't think they got into this. This game changed really quickly, and you know, yeah, there was always a control known that media has the potential to control. Yeah. But news journalism didn't always fall into that category. I think Cronkite was like the best who said it. It's like the fourth unofficial branch of government to check everything else. Right.
Yeah.
And I think you got guys like maybe, well, Will Blitzer is interesting. He worked in the White House for a while. And what if you did, that's my whole thesis on this, just take devil's advocate. If you were Will Blitzer, you got into the White House, you see how it's run, you see that there's definitely censorship going on. Every White House does it. Obama's was, in fact, the worst at it, believe it or not. To censor journalism. Journalism is just one of those hushed up things, unfortunately, in America today. Now, these guys worked in administrations that were doing it and then got out to decide to beat what? Journalists? That's interesting. That's an interesting twist, Will Blitzer. Do you have a moral compass, possibly? I mean,
That's
he
what I'm
doesn't.
saying,
I get it. I get it. He doesn't. But what if he did?
So, but there's that's the fine line. What journalism fundamentally is different than how it is used,
Sure.
and that's always been the fine line.